Counter-narrative news on Mother's Day, bringing you a short tribute to the Mexican revolutionary feminist, anti-colonial, communist, and pioneering artist of surrealism and magic realism. That's Comrade Frida Kahlo of Mexico. There's one particular painting called My Birth, painted in 1932 by Frida Kahlo, that we'd like to just focus in on. And although it's Mother's Day, Frida Kahlo never actually had a child that she could raise herself. She had a very traumatic miscarriage. And this painting, My Birth, is a depiction of several things all at the same time. But the overarching thing about Frida Kahlo, which is so inspiring, is that she depicted in her art things that really weren't depicted in terms of what women go through, in terms of miscarriage, in terms of the trauma of abuse in a relationship, issues of motherhood. Her own mother is reflected in this painting, My Birth. It's supposed to be a painting about Frida Kahlo's own birth, and the blood you see on the bed is reflected perhaps of the amount of hemorrhage that she suffered in her miscarriage as well. And Frida's own mother had passed away recently, just before she did this painting. And then there's the is it a Virgin Mary or some kind of angel looking over the whole scene and the bed of this woman giving birth, whose depiction of a dead mother giving birth to a Frida Kahlo, and the woman in the painting seems to look over what's going on with horror and empathy, but obviously is unable to intervene in the situation. Frida Kahlo was married to Diego Rivera, who was one of the world's most famous artists, a muralist, a communist himself, really fated in the art scene in the USA through the late 20s and through the 30s, until the anti-communist witch hunts really drove him back to Mexico. And he still tried to get into the USA after that, when Leon Trotsky teamed up with Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo in Mexico in the late 1930s. But that's just by the by. Back to Kahlo's work. Also, Diego Rivera was also traumatized to some extent by Frida Kahlo's miscarriage, and he depicts a newborn baby, or perhaps a baby in the womb, in one of his famous murals as well. Frida Kahlo dies in July 1954 after a series of illnesses and health problems. She had she had polio when she was a child. She had a bus accident when she was 18 years old, and this resulted in a lot of health complications and problems throughout her life, which she also depicts in her work, including in one particular painting, whereby it's a representation around the fact that she was being advised to being force-fed because she had lost so much weight. Her spine basically stopped working, and so she's like bedridden, unable to move, her arms under the cover, depicting perhaps her inability of movement, and then literally spewing out from her mouth all of this food to which she was force-fed. And the food is actually is different kinds of animal meats. And in the background is this very kind of grim landscape of the countryside and hills and mountains. Frida Kahlo was just, despite all of these challenges, health challenges, relationship challenges, I mean, she was a brilliant force of revolutionary artistic intellect, and she really remains an inspiration for everyone who wants to contend with the challenges of life, particularly as it pertains to resisting capitalism and colonialism, and in solidarity with the oppressed and liberation. Many thanks.